Very good morning, children. Once again, welcome back to the online teaching in social science. Continuation of second chapter, economics, sectors of the Indian economy. I am very much confident. I know that you are utilizing your time properly. You might have revised the topic that you have already discussed. Children, what is the name of the second chapter? Can anyone say? Okay, sectors of the Indian economy. Okay, this is only a revision about what you studied already. What is the sectors? The people are engaged in various economic activities. These activities are grouped under sectors. So in 9th class we studied there are three economic sectors. Which are they? Primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. Okay? Now once again it is only a revision about what we studied in the last year. Okay? What are the activities in primary sector? Or what is primary sector? That we have already studied in 9th class as well as in 10th class. Okay? When we produce a good or exploiting natural resource, it is known as primary sector. For example, farming, dairy, etc. come under fishing, etc. come under primary sector. That means the people are exploiting the natural resource. Using the natural resource, that is for example lands or water, the farmers produce something. It is known as primary sector. Okay, now we see what is in the secondary sector. When the activities in which natural products are changed into other forms by the way of manufacturing. Okay, in the form of manufacturing. So it is also known as industrial sector. Okay, almost all the products are manufactured, especially in factories or industries. Okay, this sector is also known as industrial sector. That also we have discussed. Then what is into a tertiary sector? The activities that help in the development of primary and secondary sectors. For example, banking, commerce, communication, trading, etc. come under tertiary sector. Okay, these are the three sectors that we already studied. There are three sectors: primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sectors. Okay. Now we have discussed what is the final goods, what is the gross domestic product (GDP). What is the gross domestic product? It is a value of all goods and services produced in a country within a year. In a year, how much production is done? The total value of goods and services produced in a country in a year. It is known as gross domestic products. Okay. Now, again we have discussed what are the historical changes occurred in different sectors. Okay. There we have seen that at the initial stage of development, the primary sector was the most important sector. You know, India is an agricultural country or agrarian economy where more than 70% of people derive their income from agriculture. Isn't it? That is why India, farming is the most important occupation in India. Okay. Then the farmers produce more goods and they have plenty of production. So they could store in the food items in cold storage and so on. Okay. Then the people began to engage in manufacturing. Okay. In the second stage, what happened? Manufacturing. The second sector became the most important sector. Different machineries were invented. With the help of machineries, production became easier. Okay, different machines were come up, and production became easier. Second sector became most important, predominant. Then in the past 100 years, there has been much further shift from secondary to tertiary sector. Now we know that tertiary sector, it is also known as service sector. tertiary sector is improving very much in our country. Okay. Again, we have seen what is the importance of tertiary sector in a country, etc. We have discussed. Okay, now we have seen about unemployment. So unemployment is the most important problem that the whole world faces, but especially our country, being a poor country, many people suffer or face the problem of unemployment. Okay, now we are going to discuss the new term, what is meant by underemployment. Before that, we will discuss what is meant by unemployment. Can anyone say what is unemployment? Okay, unemployment is a situation in which the people who are willing to work cannot find a job. Actually, people are ready to work at the going wages, whether it is 300 rupees or 400 rupees or 1000 rupees or 2000 rupees per day. They are ready to do the work, but people are unable to find a job. Okay, this situation is known as unemployment. It is very much clear. Okay, now we see what is very underemployment. Okay, there is a little difference between unemployment and underemployment. Okay, in the case of underemployment, people are apparently working. That is what is meant by that. They are visibly working. Okay, but all of them are made to work less than their potential. Actually, last year in 9th class we have studied. This is also known as this guy's unemployment. What is meant this guy's unemployment? Actually, a worker requires the service of 5 people, but 8 people are employed. For example, in a family there are 8 members. They are having 2 hectares of land. Actually 5 people are enough to work in the fields, but all the 8 people are employed. We can say that the 3 people are extra. Understood? But we cannot say that they are unemployed. So this situation is known as underemployment. Okay, each one is doing some work, but no one is fully employed. Okay, this situation is known as underemployment. Even if we remove 2-3 some people from from this agriculture production, the production will not decrease. Understood? Whether in a land of 2 hectares, whether 5 people are working or 8 people are working, the total production will be same. Okay, the total production will not decrease. Okay, children. Now we understood what is the underemployment. In the case of underemployment, people are visibly working. Okay, but all of them are made to work less than their potential. Actually, they have the capability of working more. Actually, understood. So this situation is underemployment. Even if we remove some people out, the production will not decrease. So this situation is known as underemployment. Okay. Now we will see what are the ways to increase employment. How can we increase employment in our country? Or how can we, another question, same question can be asked in different ways. How can we decrease unemployment in our country? There are different ways are there. Okay. The first one is that by providing a bank loan. A farmer can dig a well and the agriculture field can be irrigated and more people could be employed. Understood? Suppose government provide a bank loan, what the farmer can do? The farmer can dig a well in their lands and they can cultivate more crops and more people could be employed. Okay. Again, another thing is that by constructing a dam or a canal, more land could be brought under cultivation. Understood? Actually, we know that water is an essential thing for the growth of plants. Okay? If we construct a dam or a canal in an area, more land could be brought under cultivation. And it will lead to more employment. For example, in a village, more and more large number of people could be employed. Okay. Again, we know that if the government, another case, if the government invest more money in transportation and storage facilities, it would provide employment not only to the farmers but also to the transporters and traders, etc. Understood? The government invest money, large sum of money in agriculture, what will happen in storage of crops? For example, that cold storage is there, isn't it? So if there is more production, they could store in the food like potatoes, etc. We can store onion, etc. can be stored in the cold storage, and it would provide employment not only to the farmers but also to the transporters. We know that it would be many people get job employment as drivers, cleaners, the people those who are engaged in loading and unloading, okay, traders, business people, etc., etc. Many people can be available. Then again, we know that if the local bank, or we know that many villages, Grameen banks are there. If the banks provide loans to the farmers at low rates of interest, the farmers would be able to buy seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, a lot of machineries, etc., etc., isn't it? So that agriculture production can be increased, and in a way, more people could be employed. Again, another thing is that many industries can be set up in local areas or in the rural areas. Also, government should encourage setting up industries in local areas or especially in the rural areas, so that many people could be employed. Okay. Again, we know that if all the children are encouraged to go to the schools or colleges, if they are provided education in a proper manner, so they could be employed. There are plenty of lakhs of job opportunities are there. Government jobs are available. If they are educated, a large number of people could be employed in government sectors as teachers, the government staff, etc., etc. Okay. Again, we know that if we improve the health situation, health condition, what will happen? We need many more doctors, nurses, etc. Okay, these are the ways we can increase employment in our country. Okay, children. First thing is that by providing a bank loan, farmers could dig a well and irrigate their agricultural fields, and many people could be employed. Again, we know that by constructing a dam or a canal, a large area could be brought under cultivation. Again, we know that if the government invests more money in transportation, storage facilities, etc., many people could be, a large number of people could be employed. Again, we know that if the local bank or Grameen banks provide loans to the farmers at low rates of interest, what will happen? The farmers could buy the seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, machineries, etc. at a low price. It would be an encouragement to the farmers. Again, we know that by setting up industries in the rural areas, thousands of people could be employed, especially in the village areas. Okay, again we have seen that if almost all the children are sent to the schools and colleges, if they are provided education, many people, thousands of people could be appointed in different different government jobs. Okay. Now we understood, children. Now we are going to discuss the last, not the last topic. Today we will find out with one topic, that is MGNREGA, Mahatma Gandhi National Employment Guarantee Act, 2005. If we call it Mahatma Gandhi NREGA, see, MGNREGA. So actually it was introduced in the year 2005. Actually, the central government in India made a law implementing the right to work in about 625 districts in India. Okay, we know that it is a fundamental right. Every citizen has the right to work. So, in the year 2005, the central government made a law implementing the right to work in about 625 districts in India. According to this act, according to MGNREGA, all those who are able to do the work or in need of work, of employment, are guaranteed 100 days of employment in a year by the government. It is known as Mahatma Gandhi NREGA. So under this act, all those who are able to do the work or the people those who are in need of work are guaranteed 100 days of employment in a year. Okay? It has one provision. If the government fails to provide employment for 100 days, it will give employment allowances to the people. Okay, children, understood? In the year 2005, the central government has formulated an act in order to provide employment to the rural people. Okay, this act is known as Mahatma Gandhi NREGA. In the initial stage, it was implemented in 625 districts of India. Okay, under MGNREGA, all those who are able to do the work or those who are in need of work are guaranteed 100 days of employment by the government. Okay. Again, one clause is there. What is that? If the government fails to provide employment to the people, they will give employment allowances to the people. Okay, children? Okay. Today we will finish here. So, two more topics are there. What is organized sector, unorganized sector, etc. That we will discuss in the next class. Okay, children? You need to revise the chapter very much. The previous things what we already studied, that also you have to revise. This video you have to listen 2-3 times. Then you can very easily pick up what is the most important content. Then you have to read the textbook. Then you learn the question answers. Thank you.